And meanwhile, like, war in Iraq will be going on, Afghanistan getting bombed the out of, and everyone will be like, no, they were cool with that Black Death thing. They were like, so it's chill to us. Everyone will be like, good guy American government. Meanwhile, drone strike, bitch! Ah, yes, Keeps.com, a service that allows you or helps you keep your hair, brought to you by a mega bald dude. Look, I lost my hair 10 years ago now. I recently turned 35. I had a bald spot when I was 25. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, was like, dude, you just gotta shave your head. You can't. And I had like such glorious, I had like long hair. She was like, you gotta shave your head. Like, just do it. You look way too old. And I was like, all right, it's happening. And it's been 10 years rocking the shaved head pretty much. And I first had a little bit, just hair up top. And then I just had to fully embrace that my hair was gone. Most guys is a bit later. 2 out of every 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. That's nearly 70% of people, which is mad. It makes me feel better. Like now I see my friends who have hair going bald and I'm like, join the club. And they got the bald spots and they're like not yet embraced the shaved head look. I'm just 10 years ahead. But look, those guys could have prevented all of that if they'd gone to Keeps, because Keeps have the only 2 FDA-approved drugs for treating hair loss. And better yet, you might be thinking, oh, it's going to be expensive because of some sort of medical thing, and I'm going to guess that, like, hair loss treatments are not covered by, your health insurance or the health service and stuff like that. But look, with Keeps, it starts at just $10 a month, which, let's just say I would make that trade. $10 a month for luscious head of hair? Yes! How does it work? Well, there's no need to visit a doctor's office. You just have a quick online consult. A little bit later, a package arrives at your door. It's discreet, so your balding secret is safe. And you use it in the privacy of your own home. So if you're noticing that you're losing hair, that's a problem that's not going to fix itself. Do something about it. For a limited time, go to keeps.com/brainblaze and you'll get 50% off your first order. Again, keeps.com/brainblaze for 50% off your first order. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Keeps. Now today's video. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brain Blaze. I, as ever, am your host. My name is Simon. What happens here? Danny No, I apologize. Kevin writes me a script. Kevin sometimes guest writes on this channel. Thank you, Kevin. What is this called? The craziest reasons products have been banned? Okay then, let's crack on. Writing for Simon. Careful, where are we going with it, Kevin? The next line better be just a glorious experience that fills my life with joy and a sense of accomplishment and wonder. And Simon is basically a god king.
Yes, master.
It's quite an adventure. Sometimes when working on a script, I find myself spending 20 or 30 minutes researching something that has absolutely nothing to do. That has absolutely nothing to see, Sam. I just moved the boom mic out of the way because I know you were complaining about that. You were like, Simon, why is it there? Why is it there? You're not even using it. You're using another microphone. I'm like, I know. Sorry, Sam. Sam edits these videos. Did I mention that? Sorry, Sam. I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to say anymore. Forgive me?
No.
I'll often spend 20 or 30 minutes researching something that's absolutely nothing to do with the topic just because I want to make sure whatever stupid joke I'm about to make is actually factually accurate. That may not seem like the most efficient use of time, but it often pays dividends. Glad I pay you per word, Kevin, to be honest. While going on an absurd rant about YouTube in the latest Casual Criminalist, which is the channel that Kevin normally writes for, and he guests here occasionally because he wanted to, and I was like, okay. I found myself going off on one of these ridiculous side quests. I just wanted to know whether or not a specific product still existed, but what I found left me completely awestruck. The product did still exist, but there was some history behind it that I didn't know, involving what may be the single most ridiculous sentence I'd ever seen. From that single sentence, I knew that it was time to blaze. Yeah, it is.
Blazing.
The story was layers upon layers of crazy, and I knew that there had to be more out there. There are plenty of banned. Holy shit, Kevin. I'm regretting it. I was just saying, I'm glad I pay you per word, Kevin. Glad I pay you per word, Kevin. Am I paying you for introductions this lengthily? Yes, I am. Do I want to be? No, I don't. We all know that Winnie the Pooh is banned in China for being a photorealistic artist's impression of Xi Jinping, or that Kinder Surprise eggs are banned in America for being a choking hazard. Or one of those things is, let's just say both of those things are true, because it's like one of those things where someone criticizes you, right? It's best not to like make a fuss about it. Like if people are like, Simon, you baldy bull, and I was like, hey, stop calling me a baldy bull. Guess what's going to happen? Loads of people are going to be like, a baldy, because they know it upsets me. Whereas I'm always like, it doesn't really upset me because I've been bald for a really long time. And fortunately, I have a wonderfully shaped head. But if I leaned into like being like, stop that, and I had the power of a nation behind me to literally make people stop doing it, then everyone else who's not subject to that nation is going to be like, they're just going to be going off on it, aren't they? Because they know it triggers me. But if you're just like, yeah, no, I'm bald. It is what it is, isn't it? Then no one's going to be like, baldy, because they know I don't give a shit. Xi Jinping, there's a lesson here for you, isn't there? When they first said you look like Winnie the Pooh, you should have just been said like, yeah, I guess in a weird way. But I mean, not really. A little bit, I guess. I can see it. And you've just been good-natured about it. This would not be an issue. No one would be thinking about this at all. At all. Wasn't there also, like, in that same picture, so people were like, Barack Obama looks like Tigger? And I guess that's less offensive, because Tigger's cool-looking. But everyone was like, oh, yeah. And Barack Obama was probably like, yes. And that's that. No one cares anymore.
Nope. Stop talking. Go to jail.
I know. I'm extending the introduction with my own words, but I'm not paying for those. I'm just making them up on the fly. It'd be cool if I got paid per word. I mean, it wouldn't. Would it? Simon has also reminded Daily that most Americans cannot comprehend that Kinder Surprise and Kinder Joy are different things. Kevin, even bringing this up is insanity. Because all it's going to do is get more people to go over my Twitter who don't understand the difference between these things, even though they think they do. And even though when we specifically told them that they don't, they still think they do.
What are you, fucking stupid?
It's beyond me. It's like these people have had a small stroke in a very specific area of their brain that makes them not understand the difference between they're not almost identical. They're not similar at all. They're just the same color. There's a giant word on it, which is different. Fucking idiots. And now people are going to be all over my Twitter being like, oh, look, Simon, I found a Kinder Surprise. It's like, I know when you're being sarcastic, and I know when you're just dumb. But there are lesser-known product bans as well. And these less-known ones often have the most absurd rationale behind them. So let's start with what I discovered when working on my latest casual criminal list. Oh my God, Kevin, the introduction! Will it ever end? My audience retention is already shit, Kevin. We're just making it worse. I'm overblowing this a little bit, but Kevin, if you watch this, shorter introductions, mate, for real. And don't forget to go there after the blah, blah, blah. Okay, where's the first entry? Here it is. ATF bans vodka for not being poison. I already know that Simon and I don't see eye to eye on Pink Floyd, because Kevin probably thinks they've got some modicum of talent, whereas I don't.
Hey, you're gonna wake the others.
But another one of my favorite bands growing up was Guns N' Roses. The lead singer, what's that song? That is a terrible rendition, but what's that? They got that epic guitar solo at the beginning. What is that? God, but it's so good. That is Guns N' Roses, right? Even though I know it was people are going to know what song I'm talking about. The singer Axl Rose is fairly legendary for being a giant douchebag. That I didn't know. Not to the levels of Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson, but he's still not terribly well liked, though things have turned around now that he's more frequently on his meds. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum is guitarist Slash. Slash is pretty much the nicest and most chill guy ever, so naturally, he was the perfect spokesman to endorse Black Death vodka. Well, that's a name and a half, isn't it? Okay, probably had less to do with him being a nice guy and more to do with the fact that he was a heavy metal guitarist that wore a top hat, just like the skull on the bottle. I guess I did know that Slash, if someone said what band is Slash in, I don't know. genuinely don't know. Also, don't care. As a fun aside, this sponsorship is... have I told this story before? I got made fun of as a kid.
Bing, 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 bong, 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 bong. Get those lights off. Bing, 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 bing.
Because a mate of mine was wearing a placebo t-shirt. And I was like, what does placebo mean? I was like 12. Give me a break. And it wasn't like I got made fun of because my vocabulary was limited. I got made fun of because I didn't know who placebo were. They're alright. I mean, they're not exactly God's gift to music. What's that one song? I've been running up that hill. That's quite good. I think that's all I know from Placebo. As a fun side note, this sponsorship is a big part of the only reason that Charlie Sheen is still alive when rock star, notorious partner and face of Black Death Vodka Slash comes to your house and tells you that you're going to die if you don't go to rehab. You listen. Unfortunately, the sponsorship was not going to last. In 1992, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms set their sights on Black Death Vodka. The reality is that they didn't like the brands because it was fueled by heavy metal and rebellion, and the suits down in Washington didn't want the youth of America to get drunk and start having non-conformist thoughts. Holy shit, American government. Sometimes you are like cartoon bad guy. I mean, what the if you just let this pass, everyone will be like, yeah, no, American government's pretty chill. And meanwhile, like, war in Iraq will be going on, Afghanistan getting bombed the out of, and everyone will be like, no, they were cool with that Black Death thing. They were like, so it's chill to us. Everyone will be like, good guy, American government. Meanwhile, drone strike, bitch! But being a government agency full of stuffy old men who hate the idea of people having fun isn't grounds to ban a product, so they were going to need to invent some ridiculous bullshit. And bullshit it was. In 1992, the ATF banned the sale of Black Death vodka in America on the basis of false advertising. Contains no Black Death. Absolutely. Is that actually going to be the reason? That could actually be the reason, couldn't it? Let's see. There's not too much vodka. It's generally odorless and flavorless, so it's hard to make bold advertising claims. The problem came down to the name and logo. It said that the brand was in violation of promising poison and plague, but delivering only vodka. Oh my god, it was actually the reason. That is insane. Sadly, that quote comes from the company itself rather than the ATF, but having read the official complaint, the meaning of what they said is accurate. The ATF claimed the seemingly dangerous packaging could confuse consumers as the name and logo make the vodka appear as though it were not fit for human consumption. They did acknowledge that the name and logo may have been meant as light-hearted satire, but they also acknowledged that they didn't give I just imagine, like, guy in a suit in Washington whose job it is to ban products is like, what is this, satire you speak of? More to the point, they said it undermined the facts about the actual damage that could be caused by alcohol, as well as downplaying the severity of the bubonic plague or some bullshit to that effect. The bubonic plague was, I mean, I know it still exists, but like when lots of people would die from it was a really long time ago. I mean, we're over it. It's not like they called it like 9/11 vodka or something. It's not like relatively recent history. This was a really long time ago. No one's getting triggered by the bubonic plague, are they? Obviously, the ATF didn't have a leg to stand on here, but the product was still banned in America until an appeal overturned the decision. But by the time the damage had been done, Black Death's headquarters was now in Belgium, and the band wouldn't bother to come back to America until 2017 after they got sick of other vodka brands like Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Head Vodka stealing their gimmick. Fucking Dan Aykroyd stealing their gimmick. They must have. Surely they're not the first people ever to put like an alcoholic beverage inside a skull-shaped container. Come on. Xbox trivia game banned. To call something like this a game is pretty generous. The Guy game, produced for Xbox in 2004 by Top Heavy Studios, isn't a game so much as it is porn with extra steps. Uh-oh. You know what, Kevin? One of the problems about having you as a guest writer on Brainblaze is that you will miss ones that we've covered before, because we've definitely covered this before, but look, I'm not enough of a creator. I'm not, maybe you couldn't tell, but I haven't even read this before. Like, the idea that I'm going to go over to my computer, scrap the entire video that we've made so far so I can edit this and take this entry out is absurd. So we're just going to do it again, aren't we? You're welcome. Porn has a long history in video games, dating back to games like Custer's Revenge. Let's just not call that porn, Kevin. Let's call that a weird rape game with tons of racism thrown in. And with that, we are throwing my monetization out the window because we just got racism and rape into one sentence, which, I mean, we did in a video, but they made it a part of a video game as a selling point. How are these words coming out of my mouth? How did Custer's Revenge exist as a thing? It's crazy. And Bubble Bath Babes, many early porn games were puzzle-based, where players would complete a puzzle to reveal some full-frontal 8-bit image that I'm sure rarely actually aroused anybody. I remember when I was a kid, do you guys remember, was it Duke Nukem? It was sort of like Doom, but not Doom. And in the, like, bathrooms, or, like, in some of the, like, bars or whatever, there were, like, nudie pictures on the walls, like, just women with their breasts out. And it was like, I mean, it was just super pixelated, but I remember playing that game with my friends as well, being like, oh, as a kid, and being like, oh, Duke Nukem, you naughty game. Sure, by the standards of the day, nudity may have looked pretty good compared to the other images that could be produced by a game console or computer, but do you know what looked even better? Real human women. Even in the 1980s, this would have been impressive, because even if you are unable to get a woman on account of being gross and unlikable... Why don't you have a girlfriend? I'm gross and unlikable. Or in my case, on account of being only 7 years old. Come on, Kevin, you are 7 years old and gross and unlikable. Burn. It's not like porn magazines were hard to find. You could just walk into any wooded area and there would be porn strewn all over the ground. That's so Why is woods porn a thing? Why is this like, even when I was a kid, I grew up in an entirely different country to Kevin, but still, you'd sometimes go to the woods and there'd be porn in the woods. I'm sure it's not a thing nowadays because the internet, but like, why was the porn in the woods back in the day? Is there something I'm missing there? Why was that a thing? And I'm all... very bizarre. I don't know if this was a thing in the UK as well. This one crosses the ponds. But all you American 80s kids who found porn in the woods, be in the comments and let us know, so what's up. Yeah, let me know what's up. If you were the person strewing porn around the woods, what were you up to and why were you doing this?
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? Our daddy taught us not to be ashamed of our dicks, especially since they're such good size and all.
Back on track. The Guy game was a bar trivia game. The twist was that you'd be rewarded with full motion videos of girls getting naked at spring break for getting the answers correct. The better you did, the more you would see, and the less censored the videos would become. At best, this sort of thing would get a D as an actual video game and an F as useful porn, but... Not only does it have a limited selection of short videos, but you have to jump through hoops to even see them. Granted, this was 2004. Me and my mates would have opened up the directory on that CD so quickly to just find the subfolder that contains all of the images. We'd be like, the videos, we'd be like, we're not answering questions. We just want to get to the breasts as quickly as possible. Open up that directory. Granted, this was 2004, so there were still quite a lot of people on dial-up, especially outside of major cities. I'm sure many a horny rural teen purchased this game only to find themselves saying, I could really go for a wank, but I can't remember the capital of Zimbabwe. Bulawayo? Maybe? Bulawayo? Zimbabwe? Not sure. Obviously, there was some... I was about to say Rhodesia, but that was what Zimbabwe was called before they were like, that's a bit racist, isn't it? Obviously, there was some problem with this game, and I'm guessing you've already guessed what it is. The makers of the game were very careful to get all of the girls involved to sign release forms before filming them, but they didn't actually make it clear to the most likely shit-faced girls what the videos were going to be used for. Yes, the problem with waivers, you can't just... It's like, you know, in cartoons, they're always like, boom, here's a giant contract they have to sign, like, and it's like you just sold your soul to the devil. You have to make people aware of what they're signing, otherwise it's not going to count. There's an interesting law in the UK where if there's a particularly onerous clause of a contract, they have to make it bigger and more obvious. So you have like a contract, and then there'll be a bit that says, yeah, we have your firstborn child. You can't just slip that there. It has to be like bold and highlighted and like obvious because it's a more onerous clause. Fascinating sidebar. Legal genius turn there. Let's carry on. 4 months after the game's release, one of the girls that appeared nude in the game came forward to confront the game company. She explained to them in so many words, you guys never told me that you're going to put my naked body in a mass-marketed video game. Also, I was 17 when you filmed me. Uh-oh. I'd have led with that, woman. I'd have just been like, guys... I'm going to need some money. That's right, a company accidentally included child pornography in their Xbox game, resulting in it very obviously being banned and pulled from stores. Adult-only games are banned on Twitch, but The Guy game is one of the very few M-rated games that's still banned from the platform. Wait, didn't we just say it was bad? Adult-only games are banned on Twitch, but The Guy game is one of the very few M-rated games. What's an M rating? I don't know what this American thing means, Kevin. Okay, let's just move on. I'm just assuming I'm confusing all the Americans. I understand perfectly. British people are so stupid. They sound so clever, but they're so stupid. So they have genetically smaller brains in their tiny country. It can be seen on Twitch's list of prohibited games alongside such classics as Cuckold Simulator and Suck My Dick or Die. That latter one sounds a bit rapey, doesn't it? Holy shit. A game like this would normally be no big deal. It's the sort of shovelware that you'd see in piles in a bin at Walmart for $3 each, if not for this little scandal. Instead, copies routinely sell on eBay for $80 to $100 each, though we don't condone you buying or selling those for obvious reasons. If you're buying that, you're really opening yourself up for some, not just, it's not big legal troubles, because that's technically child pornography. What are you doing? Don't do that. What's wrong with you? China bans time travel. Oh my god, thank god, I was really concerned about this. Since most people know that China has outlawed the reincarnation of Tibetan monks without the explicit consent of their state administration for religious affairs, a law enacted as a giant but meaningless you to the Dalai Lama, you'd be forgiven for taking this topic at face value. China bans time travel. Sure, that seems like the sort of pointless bullshit that they would get up to. Yeah, again, China, what are you up to? You need like, I don't know, someone to be like, how's this look? What, is that called PR? You need a PR team, China. Country as a whole, Xi Jinping in particular. However, they are not banning the physical act of time travel. If anyone in China could develop time travel technology, I'm sure the government would be eternally grateful for their contributions to science, and they would never ever use it for anything evil. What they actually banned is the production of any television shows or movies based on time travel. What? This is like one of my favorite genres. I've been watching Stargate SG-1 from the beginning over again. I loved that show 15 years ago, 20 years ago when it came out. Enjoying the hell out of it the second time around. First season, second season, not the best. I didn't really like the Goa'uld storylines so much because it feels like, are we getting a little bit close to... I know it's not fantasy because it is sci-fi, but it's always like, they speak weird. They have all this weird... It just got a little bit fantasy for my liking. But then we're getting season 3 and season 4 and it's getting epic. And one of my favorite episodes, that one when they do that time loop for whatever reason. And they're playing golf into the Stargate and all that. This is just so off topic. I'm sorry, let's carry on. But I love time travel stories. Not to mention Back to the Future, one of the best movies ever made. The genre started becoming increasingly popular in the late 2000s and early 2010s, with many time travel dramas following a very similar outline. A person from modern times somehow gets transported back in time to ancient China. The traveler is shocked by how culturally different it is. Would you be shocked? You've traveled back in time to ancient China. You'd be like, oh my god, it's really different. How surprising. So surprising. But over time, they adjust and start to enjoy the surroundings. Then they meet someone from the past that they quite like and they commence with the okay. Learning about a strange new culture and then having sex with it is pretty much the same formula that Captain Kirk followed on every episode of Star Trek the original series, so we can't really blame them for enjoying it. But as popular as these shows are, and as much as the public viewing them enjoys them, the General Bureau of Film, Radio and Television does not. So, no. So what was their complaint and the reason for banning them? The issue was twofold. The first problem was that the government had felt it disrespected history. Yeah, in the past, nobody had sex at all. See the problem with that Chinese government? To be fair, they're not entirely wrong here. While viewers generally loved the shows, they did often complain about them being too historically inaccurate. In some cases, the love interest would not just be a fictional person from ancient China, but an actual historical figure. This would result in the fictional portrayal of the figure diverging too much from actual history. It's called fucking fiction, Chinese government. Just relax. It's not like we're watching like movies set in the past with people from the past in them. We're all like, this is bang on. No, most of the time we're like, oh, we know it's a little bit made up. That's okay. Just relax, chill. It's fine. Given that the actual viewers of these shows complained when a show or movie was hastily slapped together with writing and was too historically inaccurate, it stands to reason that the companies would just push for higher quality in order to maintain viewership. With that being the case, the ban is pretty pointless. And then there's China's other issue with the movies, which is that it distorts and confuses people's view of the past. Your population's not stupid. I mean, of course they are. There's like every population has a large proportion of really stupid people because that's how a bell curve works. But they know it's fiction. Someone traveled in time back to the past. What the fuck are you talking about? I call total and complete bullshit on this. In my short story, Lincolnthrope, in which Abraham Lincoln is a werewolf who is heroically slain by John Wilkes Booth, werewolf hunter disrespectful to...
The fuck?
Is this disrespectful history? Absolutely. Is it going to confuse the most feeble-minded person and make them believe it is some secret book instead of a complete and total work of fiction? Absolutely not. However, again, Kevin, let me direct your attention to the really stupid segment of it. Not just regular stupid, but, you know, people, the same people who are like, 5G. Bill Gates put a chip in me. Those people could be like, Kevin Jennings, with this short story, he's getting the truth out there. This is the only way he can do it with fiction. Because there's gonna be at least 3. Because there's a whole lot of people in the world. It should be noted that very technically this was not an official ban laid out by the Chinese government. It was merely a suggestion that Chinese film and TV studios will almost certainly abide by if they understood what's good for them in the People's Republic of China. Yeah, when the Chinese government says to a film, this is a suggestion. And if you disobey the suggestion, we are going to try that guillotine out on you that we've been making. Yes! The ban on time travel also appears to be something specific to time travel within China. Tenet, the movie that was supposed to be the first big blockbuster after lockdown until everyone realized how boringly mediocre it was, did in fact release in China, where it did pretty well. Unfortunately, it looks like our time is at an end. I'd love to tell you why Canada banned baby walkers or Tunisia banned imports of pencils and chalk, but then we'll have to wait until next time. Kevin, guess what? Maybe if you'd made the introduction less short, we'd have more space. Novel concept, isn't it? And if you wanted to hear pun-based alternate storylines like Lincolnthrope, Beelzebub, Bush, and Vlad the Inhaler, now I'll have to wait until Simon decides to start yet another channel. Yeah, it'll happen. It always happens. I'm always starting new... I start like at least 2 or 3 new channels every single year. It's just how I roll. Thanks for watching.
Blazing.
Time!